give a short intro about your team. So as I said, myself Vishwa from Taxilla. I look after the e-invoicing business, and in especially my focus is in Saudi Arabia and UAE and in Gulf regions. And along with me, my team members Bhavani Kiran and Vamsi Krishna has joined here. And initially, you interacted with Vamsi, and so all of us are from the business development team. And I have a technical knowledge about the invoicing, as I'm having dealing with the invoicing for the past 2+ years in Taxilla. So, can you just quickly introduce yourself and your team and what your company provides?
Okay. My name is Mr. Dixon Akam. I'm the CEO of the Dicalo Consulting Group, and I'm joined here with my colleague here, who is Ivera. Ivera is a business development executive here with the Dicalo Consulting Group. Again, we also have a presence in Lagos, Nigeria, where we have our manager there is Febo Igwe. And in Cameroon, in Douala, we just opening our first office in Douala, which is going to be on Monday. And the manager there is Mr. Ashu Leonard. So I think this is a great opportunity to have this conversation with you people. And if it's a good concept, why not export it to Africa? I think it's
Yeah,
a new concept also there.
yeah, definitely. And even
Yeah.
we are also exploring into Nigeria. We are seeing what we can offer there. Maybe as we progress, we'll keep you updated on that also. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me just start sharing my screen. And if you have any query, you can feel free to stop me in the middle to make it more interactive. Okay.
Okay.
So coming to Taxilla, Taxilla is a global regulatory technology platform. We offer regulatory compliance solutions all across the globe. This regulatory compliance involve e-invoicing also comes under regulatory compliances. And this is a snapshot of our business. We are in this e-invoicing business for the last 8 years. We have presence in 20+ countries, and we are currently serving to 2000 plus customers globally. These are enterprise customers, and ours is a SaaS-based solution, and our solution is handling 250 million plus e-invoicing transactions per year. So, and also we are a, PayPal certified PayPal access point. So I'll talk about more in detail about what is PayPal. But for e-invoicing in UAE, in order to become a approved solution provider, you should be having a PayPal certification, which Taxilla is there since 2022 itself. Okay. So this is the journey so far. We started in USA in 2015, and in 2017 we established a global delivery center in India. Currently, I'm speaking from India only, and we became one of the GSP solution provider for e-invoicing in India. We are one of the solution providers in India. One of the big four company called KPMG has acquired a platform for e-invoicing and GST for Indian clients of theirs, and they rebranded it into their own company, and they are reselling to their clients in India. And 2019, we launched e-invoicing in India as along with the launch of Indian government mandating e-invoicing. By 2020 itself, we got 8% of market share for e-invoicing solution. And 2021, e-invoicing got mandated in Saudi Arabia with phase one, and we launched our e-invoicing solution in Saudi also. Right now, as of today, we are serving to 1,000+ customers in Saudi Arabia without any office in Saudi Arabia. How we achieved is we tied up with the partners like your company, CPA firms, and system integrated partners, and offering the solution to the end customer. And in 2023, we listed in the Australia and Japan for government websites as an approved solution provider for e-invoicing. And in 2024, Malaysia has mandated e-invoicing. There also we launched e-invoicing, and we got a very good success. By end of 2024, we acquired 200+ customers in UAE, sorry, in Malaysia. And we are having offices in Australia and Malaysia. We opened in 2024. 2025, we registered our office in UAE, and this is for PEPAL FT Federal Tax Authority accreditation process for ASP for sending for becoming approved solution provider for e-invoicing in UAE. And most of our operations will be happening through a partner only. Okay. So this is the overview of our journey so far, and these are the solutions we are offering. So we offer financial closure, invoice to pay, global invoicing compliance. What is the global invoicing is? Your client may be having presence in multiple countries. Let's say they have presence in UAE as well as in Saudi and India, where e-invoicing is mandated. And each country has a different format of invoicing. Each computation, each rule will be there. But your client is following only same structure in all the countries. So what we do is we can convert the data into that required country format and do the validation and submit to the government for clearance or reporting model. And invoice to cash is all about when you are sending an invoice on a credit basis, especially the seller issuing a invoice, B2B invoice on a credit basis, then there is a high chance of getting delay of the payment. So our solution will automate the whole process of invoice to cash from the generation of invoice and generation of invoice submitting to the customer and sending timely reminders to the customer about the payment and collecting the payment and updating the seller. So this way the seller will be well aware that what is the cash flow and what is the amount of invoices which has is likely to convert it to the bad debts in coming days. Okay. So today we are going to talk about e-invoicing that is happening in UAE. Okay. So these are the countries where we are offering e-invoicing solution as of today. So some of the African countries also we are offering, like in Kenya and Zambia, we are offering, and other countries also we are going to add as and when there is a requirement is coming up. Okay. So do you have any clients who are having base in any of these countries?
Yeah, I think we have clients in all these markets, and again, like I said, especially when governments are making it compulsory now, it becomes a requirement that everybody needs to comply. I think even the UAE is moving towards making that mandatory very soon, but more
Yes.
likely not mandatory.
UAE is currently the hot market. In Kenya and Zambia, it got saturated actually because in Kenya and Zambia, the regulations are more, and whoever has gone live already, they are using the same system. They don't want to change it because it's too complicated to come to another system. But UAE is currently, everyone is looking for a invoicing solution, and it's a very good opportunity also, even for your business, as they will reach out to you for e-invoicing needs. Okay. So these are the some of the customers to whom we are serving globally. And some of these companies you might already be heard of in other parts of the world. Like in FedEx, we are serving in the African country like Kenya, and in Saudi and India, and other three more countries we are serving for FedEx for e-invoicing. Hudson and Turbo, we are serving in Saudi Arabia, Aditya Birla Group in India, Hershey's Chocolate. We are serving in Malaysia, Zamal Group in Saudi Arabia, Axiata in Malaysia, VI in India, and Deutsche Bank in India. Like this, we are serving to multiple verticals of business across multiple countries. Okay. So this is what my country is all about. This is what Taxilla is doing so far. Now I want to talk about e-invoicing solution. So, so far, do you have any queries, Mr. Dixon? You're on mute if you're speaking something.
Can you explain to me how this works, the benefits, and why any government should make it mandatory?
Yes, I will explain. So I'm going to touch about that point only. First, let me talk about what is e-invoicing. So e-invoicing, as you can see, the e-invoicing means electronic invoicing. So what is e-invoicing is currently the practice of generating of invoices by the clients, how they are generating is maybe through ERP, they are generating some invoice copy, printing out, stamping and signing and giving it to the end customer. Some people are not even using any ERP, they are using Excel to generate invoice copy. And some people are doing some other mechanism, even in pen and paper, they are signing and they are giving to the end customer. This is a very unstructured format. And when they are going for a VAT filing, VAT filing, they are updating all the information whichever is they are having in their ERP or their account books, and they are inputting, they are submitting their purchase details, and they are getting input tax rate. Okay. And the government all across the globe, what they understood is there is a financial leakage is happening. The tax which government needs to collect, that is not accurate. So what they came up with is all across the government, even in Kenya or Saudi Arabia or India or any other part of the world, they want to make this invoicing process structured in the country so that there is no tampering is happening, and the government will have a very good idea of what is the VAT this particular business should report to them and file pay to them. Okay, so this is what the e-invoicing came into the picture. And another reason why e-invoicing is mandated is to save the environment. The government wants to take an initiative to make the invoice digital, completely digital, so that the trees and other environment resources will be saved, and this process will be totally streamlined. That is the two reasons why invoicing came into picture. And the file format and the structured file format, which is mandated by the UAE, is called as XML file format, that too in a PINT A version. So PINT is nothing but PEPAL International File Format. The government is going to accept only the XML file. If you give some other file format to the government, they won't accept. They straight away reject, their application will straight away reject the details. Okay. So this e-invoice, who is it getting applicable? It is getting applicable to all VAT registered businesses who are doing business in UAE. And this is going to be rolled out in a phase wise. Like not everyone is going to get mandated on day one itself. So first they will be targeting higher revenue companies, and then slowly they are going to select another slab of companies, and then another slab like that. Like 4 to 5 slabs, they will come. They will cover all the VAT registered companies in UAE. And what kind of invoices is getting mandated as part of e-invoicing is B2B, business to business, business to government, self-billed invoice, credit note and debit note. B2C invoices are not mandated in e-invoicing. Okay. And the exchange, if you say that, okay, can the client directly submit e-invoices to the government portal? That is not possible. They have to associate with a certified PayPal access point like Taxilla, and they have to send it to this access point, and that access point will send it to the government access point as well as to the buyer. Even the seller cannot send the invoice directly to the buyer. They have to send it to access point. That access point will send it to the buyer. Okay, I will talk about more in detail how the transaction happens and all. Okay, so coming to the timelines, which has happened so far is on February 2025, the government has issued a document called public consultation document, which is a data dictionary. They have introduced 50 mandatory fields which needs to be captured in the UAE invoices when they are submitting to the FTA. Okay. And there is going to be a pilot phase on January 2025 or on December 2025 or January 2026. There is going to be a pilot phase. In this pilot phase, what the client will need to do is they have to get associated with the ASP like Taxilla, and there in that pilot phase, they can test all types of business case scenarios of their business to make sure they are being ready with the e-invoicing mandate. So if any business case which is not covered by the FTA, they can test it in the pilot phase and they can inform to the government. Okay. And this July 2026 is the phase one of e-invoicing mandated for the VAT registered companies. Okay. Right now, they haven't said what revenue company will be targeted first, but as per our expectation, it will be 250 million dirhams annual revenue, companies and above will be targeted first, and later on remaining revenue slabs will be targeted. Okay. So this is what invoicing on an overview. Now this is what happening in the in other countries like invoicing. In invoicing, there are two models, Dixon. One is clearance model. Clearance model means you send an invoice to the government authority portal. They give the clearance. They issue some QR code to you. That QR code you need to print it on the invoice and give it to the end customer. This is what is happening in India as well as in this Saudi Arabia. There is another model called reporting model where you have to generate an invoice. When you are sending a copy to the buyer, you have to report that invoice to the tax authority. That is the same model which is going to happen in UAE. Okay. Similarly, that model is called as five-corner model, as there are five parties that will be involved. And similarly, UAE is also going to follow the same thing. And in Belgium Belgium, there is a four-corner model where government won't be involved, but the seller and buyer should be associated with one access point, which is approved provider, and through them only they have to send and receive the invoices. In case of Poland, it's a clearance model where they have to send an invoice, they will get a QR code, and that QR code they need to print it on the invoice and give it to the end customer. Okay. Even in Zambia, it's a clearance model. Okay. They have to print a QR code and give it to the end customer. Okay. Now coming to the mandatory fields. So these are the mandatory fields mentioned by the FTA. So they have divided the 50 mandatory fields into 6 categories. So whatever you are seeing in the white color, they are already covered as part of VAT law. So most of your clients may be capturing all the white colored fields. Whatever you're seeing on a golden brown color is what has been mandated recently as part of UAE invoicing law, which the clients has to generate that fields and give it to the FTA in a proper format. Okay. So these are the business case scenarios which is going to get impacted as part of UAE invoicing. So if your clients is having any of these business case scenarios, they should be ready with the invoicing solution. Okay. So any questions so far?
No question at the moment. So in essence, you once you raise an invoice, the QR code, like I've said, is generated. You need to add to the invoice before you send to the government. Or I was thinking that maybe you simply generate an invoice, but maybe a copy is automatically sent to the tax authorities.
Yes, a copy will be sent to the tax authority, but in UAE it is not a clearance model. So there is no QR code is involved. You just have to generate invoice. It will be reported to the government, and same way parallelly it will be sent to the buyer. Okay. So now I want to talk about.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, let's assume that maybe you raised an invoice and okay, the invoice is automatically sent to them, or you have to send it.
Now, once the client sends to the Taxilla access point, we will be sending it automatically. The client need not do manual work again.
Yeah, I'm saying that if we assume that plan A has actually enrolled for this and is expected to comply here within the UAE, if the client raises an invoice, a copy is automatically sent to the government, or the client needs to do so?
Client needs to submit to the access point. They need to submit to the access point. Access point will send it to the FTA. Okay, I'll show you.
So when are they expected to send this?
I'll show you. This picture will give you a clear idea. Okay, this is what is called as PayPal five-corner model. So here access point is nothing but a approved solution provider, which is approved, verified and approved by the FTA, which is called ASP, approved solution provider. And this, ASP will be selected by the seller, or even the buyer will be selecting a provider, which is approved by the FTA. The seller, here seller is nothing but the accounting software or ERP, or even the seller. They need to send the sales invoice to the seller's their access point. Once the access point is sent, The access point will do the pre-validation. Will check all the mandatory fields mentioned by the FTA is coming or not. If any data is missing, then we'll throw the error back to the seller saying that these are the fields are missing. You please update that fields and send it. And once the seller sends all the details correctly, we convert the data, we convert that into XML print format, which is the only format accepted by the FTA. And immediately, automatically, this access point will send it to the FTA, this XML file, and parallelly it will send it to the buyer's access point. The buyer's access point, the XML file. Okay, so the job of seller is only to submit the invoice data to the access point in a correct format. Is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Now let me talk about how this working happens is.
If we assume that the seller does not submit a given invoice to the tax authorities, how would they know?
They have to assume, they have to, seller has to submit all the tax invoices to the FTA. Why? Because his seller cannot directly submit invoices to the buyer. It will be illegal. So if FTA comes to know about it, they'll put a huge penalty on them. So they want to ignore, they want to totally remove the process of sending invoice, seller sending the invoices directly to the buyer as part of invoicing. Whatever invoices will be transferred from the seller to seller's access point. Seller access point will be submitting to the buyer's access point. Buyer will be submitting invoice to the buyer. Okay, and both the seller access point will be sending a copy to the FTA while it is sending to the buyer, and buyer also will be sending a copy to the FTA when it is received the invoice from the seller access point. It will send a copy to the FTA, and parallelly it will send a copy to the buyer. Okay, this way FTA will be having a clearer picture of who is buying, who is selling, and FTA won't reveal the numbers. But when the client is going for a VAT filing, they should be sure that they are submitting only the correct data. If they are missing any wrong, if they are submitting any wrong data, FTA will give the warning. If not listen, then they'll put a huge penalty on them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So here one more thing I want to highlight. Recently, there is a concept called MLS has been introduced. What is MLS means? Message level status. Earlier, the seller will be sending invoice to their access point, and the access point will be sending data to FTA as well as to the buyer. But seller doesn't know what is the status. Is it accepted or rejected earlier? Now, with message level status, what will happen is whenever the access point is sending the invoice copy to the FTA, FTA will give FTA will give a message saying that accepted or rejected. And parallelly, even the buyer access point will be sending a message saying that accepted, rejected, accepted and forwarded. Accepted and forwarded means the seller access point, the buyer has buyer access point has accepted the invoice and forwarded to the FTA. So this message will be captured by the access point of the seller, and the same message will be sent to the seller. So when they're going for a VAT filing or something, they can be sure that what is the status of each invoice. So if something is rejected by the FTA, they will be very sure that, okay, this invoice has been rejected by the buyer and seller. Okay. And in this is called as PEPAL 5-corner model. So PEPAL is a network, like a telephone network. So in a telephone network, there will be multiple mobile network operator, right? Like Etisalat or dot, like that. So similar way, this access point is like a mobile network. So this mobile network will be sharing all the information from the seller to the buyer through access points. Okay. So this is one thing. And there are few points we need to understand, Dixon. One is, once an invoice is reported to the FTA, you cannot delete it or modify it on your own. You means the seller. The only way to make some changes, if there is any mistake, you have to issue a credit note or debit note and issue a new invoice by amending the changes. This is the only way. Second thing, if your client is having multiple ERP systems under one TIN number, one TRN number, then they should be associated with one access point only for both sending invoices and receiving the invoices. Okay. Third thing is this e-invoicing is mandated for both sales invoices and purchase invoices. Okay. Fourth thing is if it is an export invoice. In that case, if the client is sitting in some Nigeria or somewhere in Africa where e-invoicing is not yet mandated or they are not using PayPal network for invoice, then how do they deal with it is the seller will send an invoice copy to the access point. From access point, there will be a copy will be sent to the FTA, and this access point will send a copy back to the seller. And seller should be able to download the XML file or even in a PDF copy with the attachment of the XML file which they have submitted to the FTA, and the seller can give it to the buyer in whatever mechanism they are currently doing, maybe through email or by logging into their portal and uploading the files. Okay, this is fourth point. Fifth point is if your client is telling that I'm a very big company, I want to send invoices from one access point and one ASP and get the invoices from another ASP. That is also not possible as per FTL law. Only one access point should be selected for sending and receiving for each TIN number. Okay, these are the 5 points we need to make sure, which is part of e-invoicing law. Okay, now I am going to talk about how the data is sent to the access point. Okay, so here an invoice application is nothing but Taxilla access point. So our application can be integrated with any ERP. Our application supports any ERP. It can be SAP, Oracle, or Microsoft Dynamics, or even custom ERP. So first I'm talking about the AR flow, which is called which is sales flow. So what we need from the clients who is dealing with sales is they need to send the sales data in any of these file format. It can be Excel, CSV, JSON, or XML. We give three options to send us the data. One is API. If the client is having a technical team, they can do the integration of the APIs and they can send us the data with a click of a button from the ERP team, from their ERP. Second option is SFTP. They put all the files in a folder, in a secured folder in a cloud and give us the path to that SFTP. Third option is manual file upload. In the manual file upload, they just log into our application, upload that file, and then click on ensure process. Immediately my application will do the processing. It will send a copy to the FTA as well as to the buyer's access point. Okay, if it is a export invoice, our application can submit give back the output in a API or SPR file download, the file which they can download it in Excel or CSV or JSON or XML or even PDF copy. Okay, this is the AR flow. Okay, now this is the purchase flow, Dixon. So in the purchase flow, whatever invoices we are getting from the sales seller access point of the seller to your client who is buying something in their buyer's access point. In their access point, they'll get all the purchase invoices, and once it comes, Taxilla access point will report that invoice to the FTA and give back the same copy to the buyer, to your client who is buying something. And if you want us to convert it into Excel, CSV, JSON, or XML, or even PDF, we can convert it and give it to you in API or SFTP or file download option. Okay. So do you have any questions so far?
For now, I don't have any question, please. Continue.
Okay. Yeah. So currently, how many customers how many clients you are serving in UAE?
We have multiple entities. And again, like I said,
your voice is breaking. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying we have a couple of clients here, and some clients have multiple entities. But again, at the moment, it's not compulsory here. So until when they make it compulsory, I think that's when they're going to start considering whether to implement or not.
Understood. So this is
Yeah.
what e-invoicing solution is all about, Dixon. So you can start pitching the solution to your clients. And if you require any help, we can get on a call together and we can offer the invoicing solution to your customer.
Okay, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. So as a final step, I just want to touch about what is the partnership model we are offering so that it will give you a fair
Okay.
idea. And in the meantime, may I know what is the revenue of your customers to whom you are serving currently?
We have a couple of most of the clients we are working with, most of them are startups, even though we have potential for
Okay.
growth.
Okay. Got it. Okay, got it. Okay. So this one thing I want to cover before we speak about partnerships and all. So let me reshare the screen once again. Okay, I hope you are able to see okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So there is a portal called tax portal. Okay. In this, the client, what they need to do, there is a going to be a section called e-invoicing section in Imara tax portal. Once they log in with in the Imara tax portal, they will get a list of ASP where Taxilla name will also be there. There, they need to add all the details of the client, their contact person, their business details and everything. And once they click on submit, then we will be reaching out to the client. And once they provide all the, and once we reach it to them, we need to start the onboarding process. And how the onboarding process happens is like this way, as you are seeing on the screen. So these are the 5 scenarios which they have given to the by the FTA. So mostly it will be scenario 1 or 2. So for scenario 1, if they have only one VAT registration, in that case, we need to onboard the one VAT number in the Emarat export. So here endpoint is there. Endpoint is nothing but PayPal ID. Through this ID only, they will be identified by the buyers. And even if they are buying something, their seller will be identified through the endpoints only. This endpoint will be the first 10 digits of the VAT number. With this number, we have to onboard to the Emarat export. And second scenario is if the client is having a group VAT ID, and under that group VAT ID, there will be multiple TRN numbers will be there. In that case, we need to onboard the customer for all the TRN numbers with their group VAT ID. Or if they have 10 entities, all those 10 entities, we need to onboard the client with the group VAT ID, and the endpoint will be the individual TRN number will be there, the first 10 digits of the TRN number. So through this, the FTA will be understanding that this invoice is coming from the right source. If the endpoint is not correct, FTA will reject the invoice copy. Okay. So this is what I wanted to cover with you. And now I'm going to talk about the partnership model. So we basically have a model called as transfer pricing model. So this is a very simple and straightforward model. So in this model, what you will be doing is you will be bringing the customer to Taxilla, and this is a reselling model where you will be the one who will be buying from Taxilla and reselling to the end customer. So you'll be bringing initially you'll be bringing the client to us. We will give the demo and then we'll train your team how to give demo on your own by your team. And you will close the order. When it comes to submitting pricing, this is the pricing. So our pricing has two components. One is implementation fee, which is one-time fee. Okay. This one-time fee is we are charging for setting up environment for the client and providing them the training and onboarding them onto the Taxilla test environment as well as in the Taxilla as well as in the FTA portal for sending and receiving the invoices. And our another component in our pricing is called subscription fee. which is annual recurring fees. This is based upon the invoice value. So it starts with 6,000 invoices, and as the number of invoices increases, the rate per invoice will decrease. Okay. So for example, if it is a 6,000 invoices, we are charging 2,400 USD for subscription fee. And in this 2,400, you will be getting 20% of commission as a partner, reselling partner commission. On top of our pricing, you will be adding your own margin. We don't keep any cap on the margin. You can put as much margin as you want, and you can resell it to the customer. And when you are making the payment, you will be collecting 100% upfront payment. So you can collect upfront payment. You deduct the 20% from this subscription fee, and you pay as the remaining amount. Okay. This subscription fee includes even the support for all through the year. Okay, we have a standard SLAs in place where we'll be offering the ticketing system where there will be rising the tickets. And before the ticketing system, we'll be introducing our project team. Once the purchase order is given, we'll introduce our project team, and 2 to 3 resources will be with the client, and they will be with them until they go live and successfully starts posting invoices on the Imara tax portal as well as to the buyer. And once everything is done, then we'll transfer them into the support team where the email option and ticketing option will be there. And there they will be raising the tickets. Okay, that tickets they will be answering. Okay, so this is what my solution and partnership is all about. So any queries you have, or how do you want me to take this further?
It's well understood. Again, like we said, we try to see if we can start talking to our clients about that. And any other new companies that we think is relevant to them, we start talking to them. And if they are interested in any questions, so we can also talk to government bodies in Africa, and then some of their interested will let you know, okay? So that you can make a presentation to them.
Definitely. So in African
because
countries,
I'm sure the main purpose of this invoicing by the government is to ensure that they can improve on their tax collections. You know, African governments, they are very interested in taxes. So if they see ideas like this, they'll be interested in them.
Correct. That is true. Even in Oman government, we are pitching the solution to the Oman government. They are still in discussion. So if you have anything related to the African countries where we can offer the solution, definitely we can do it.
Okay, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. So anyway, we'll be talking, if we are getting someone like a big player, then we may need to see if we can have a different MOU.
Sorry, your voice got broken in between.
Yeah, I'm saying that if we are seeing, say, a bigger entity that wants to sign it, maybe like the government that wants to implement, then I think we should have a different MOU from what you have explained here. Until then, when we have it, then we can talk to you. Otherwise, the other suggestion is you can we can have an MOU with your team or with your company so that we deploy a team that can be going out to the market to talk about this.
Definitely. So what I can do is I will send you the reseller, this partnership agreement for reseller partnership, which I just shown you. You go through it and you fill in all the details. If you have any queries, you mention it as a comment and you send us the signed copy for counter signing. Okay, so that even we can, like whenever we are discussing with any of your partners or your clients, we'll be telling that you are our partner in UAE. Okay. In African countries, you can discuss with the government teams if there is any good opportunities is there. We can definitely get on a call. You can confidently tell that you are partnered with Taxilla, and we can discuss it further steps.
Okay, no problem. That's a great opportunity. So just send the agreement, we'll go through and then we'll sign. And then if there's a possibility, we can also organize some webinars
Definitely, we can
to talk about, yes, in collaboration with you, okay? Yeah.
So generally for webinars, we For reselling partners, we don't encourage webinars. Why? Because there is no upfront fee in this reselling partnership. There are other partnership like for becoming a ASP and all. But right now, I don't see that requirement is there. But from my side, I will try to set up one webinar for you. Okay. So that we can educate all your clients about what is invoicing, how your company can offer the invoicing, and how Taxilla can offer the technology to you and all. That I can do it from my side. I'll push it from my management, how we can offer the solution.
Okay, that's good. Again, like I said, again, after this meeting, we'll be happy you share this recording with us, okay?
I'll share you. You'll get another mail. You'll get two different mails. One mail with recording and another mail with this PPT deck which I shown you, partnership agreement and partnership pricing and all these key points which we discussed so far. So my colleague Vamsi will be sharing all those things. Okay.
Okay. That's good. You send the recording in a format that we can also present on our. We can also upload on our platform.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. That you can download it. I'll give you the access for downloading also. You can download it and you can see it.
Okay. Thank you. It was a pleasure and wishing you a nice day.
Same here. Wishing you a happy day and see you soon.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping for long-lasting business relationship with you.
Yes, sure. Same here. Okay.
Yeah,
thanks. Bye, Dixon. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.